I have said it publicly, and I certainly have never hidden it.
CNN host Chris Cuomo apologized for advising his brother Andrew Cuomo, the governor of New York, following allegations of Andrew Cuomo's harassment. Now, I'll get to my thoughts on this entire story, but first I want to play for you Chris Cuomo's apology.
If you would, allow me a moment. If you'll remember, I told you back in the beginning of March, I can't cover my brother's troubles. It wouldn't be fair. And you got it then, and I appreciate you understanding. Now, today, there are stories out there about me offering my brother advice. Of course I do. This is no revelation. I have said it publicly, and I certainly have never hidden it. I can be objective about just about any topic, but not about my family. Those of you who watch this show get it. Like you, I bet, my family means everything to me, and I am fiercely loyal to them. I'm family first, job second. But being a journalist and a brother to a politician is unique and a unique challenge, and I have a unique responsibility to balance those roles. It's not always easy. People can say and write what they want, but I want you to know the truth. How I helped my brother also matters. When my brother's situation became turbulent, being looped into calls with other friends of his and advisors that did include some of his staff, I understand why that was a problem for CNN. It will not happen again. It was a mistake because I put my colleagues here, who I believe are the best in the business, in a bad spot. I never intended for that. I would never intend for that. And I am sorry for that. It's also important for you to understand, not only do I not cover this here, I've never tried to influence this network's coverage of my brother. In fact, I've been walled off from it. This is a unique and difficult situation, and that's okay. I know where the line is. I can respect it and still be there for my family, which I must. I have to do that. I love my brother. I love my family. I love my job. And I love and respect my colleagues here at CNN. And again, to them, I am truly sorry. You know who I am. You know what I'm about. And I want this to be said in public to you who give me the opportunity and to my colleagues who make me better at what I do.
All right. Now, first of all, that apology was fine. Whatever. And also, of course, Chris Cuomo was advising his brother. That story really shouldn't be surprising. I mean, that's what you get when you have a political dynasty. Of course, they're brothers. You think they didn't talk about politics? Of course they did. So that should have been obvious before. The real issue here, Chris Cuomo here says he emphasized this. He never tried to influence CNN's coverage of his brother. Yet he had on his brother multiple times during the beginning of COVID, the first 9 months or so, praising him for his COVID response, despite the fact that I'll get to later, Andrew Cuomo was hiding the reality of New York's COVID response. But I want to show you some examples of I covered this back in March, some of the examples of Andrew Cuomo appearing on Chris Cuomo's show.
You know, June's a big month for us, right? We got Mom and Pop's anniversary on the 5th. We got Pop's birthday on the 15th. And this is what he always wanted. He was proud when you became governor because of what he knew you'd do. Is it true that when you were having the test administered, you inhaled and the doctor's finger went all the way up your nose and got stuck and had to be released with a tool? Is that true? And everything that he ever said mattered to him about public service is what you demonstrated right here and right now during this period when your state needed it most. And I hear it all the time.
She wanted to comment that I have a little button nose, and she was afraid that the swab would actually hurt because it extended my nasal cavity.
I just hope you recognize what even I'm able to recognize, being spawned from the same wolf pack. I hope you are able to appreciate what you did in your state and what it means for the rest of the country now, and what it will always mean to those who love and care about you the most. I'm wowed by what you did, and more importantly, I'm wowed by how you did it. Is it true that this was the swab that the nurse was actually using on you, and that at first it went into your nose and disappeared, so that in scale, this was the actual swab that was being used?
Right. I did what was right. I'm comfortable with what I did. I think the facts bear it out. I think the numbers bear it out. I think we saved tens of thousands of lives. See, I said I was going to be nice and sweet.
I just
and
want a yes, no.
cooperative, and
Was it
trying.
this?
I was trying.
Or was it this?
Very hard. Look.
Which was it? Obviously, I love you as a brother. Obviously, I'll never be objective. Obviously, I think you're the best politician in the country.
Yeah. So clearly, lots of fawning coverage of his brother throughout the COVID pandemic. The idea that he didn't try to influence CNN's coverage of his brother, you just saw that. I mean, some of these clips I found funny. That isn't to say this is good. That's to say that's a problem. When you are normalizing your brother as more of a human being, as opposed to looking at this guy as somebody who is serving the people and being critical of him because of that, then that's a problem. So by having this kind of coverage, it's human nature to all of a sudden find Andrew Cuomo more likable during these segments because they're joking around, they're having a good time. And that's a problem. So clearly CNN's coverage, or Chris Cuomo's coverage of his brother influenced people on how they feel about his brother as the governor. Now, also, of course, as I was alluding to earlier, this was all going on. Those clips were all going on while Andrew Cuomo Andrew Cuomo. The two names, sometimes I mix them up. Andrew Cuomo shielded nursing homes from liability after big campaign donation. New York AG, state severely undercounted COVID nursing home deaths. So while all of this was going on, Chris Cuomo had on his brother multiple times, joking around, having a good time, calling him the best politician in the world. Now, I guess to Chris Cuomo's credit, he said he's biased, or he's biased in that regard. Yeah, but still, you can say that on air. That is not going to really change anything. You were still having him on and giving him a ton of praise while doing so. So the real issue here is that he never should have been on the show. Now, do I think Chris Cuomo should be fired over this? No. I mean, the real reason to get rid of Chris Cuomo is because he is related to Andrew Cuomo. I mean, that would be the reason to get rid of him, or because he had on his brother before and was giving all that coverage that I just showed you. So that would be more of a reason to fire him, but not just now, because of the report that he was advising his brother. Because of course he was advising his brother. That shouldn't be a surprise to anybody. But it's worth mentioning here what CNN does find a fireable offense. CNN fired Mark Lamont Hill for daring to tell the truth. The Israeli occupation is a brutal attack on Palestinians' basic human rights. Mark Lamont Hill was fired for discussing this. So, according to CNN, praising your brother, a prominent lawmaker, on air several times, not a fireable offense, but standing up for human rights, yes, apparently that is a fireable offense.